What is up, my friends? I hope that you've all enjoyed the last couple of hours. So why wouldn't you? If you're anything like me, you've been spending it reading up on stuff, looking at the salty comments from opposition fans, looking at the Nottingham Forest tears. It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. And there's nothing anybody can do about it because once again, your Reds have found a way to grasp victory from the jaws of, well, frustration. And I'm here for it. I love it. So, loads for us to get through. I got to read this comment out, though, from Brian before we get underway, because I think there's a bit of all of us in this comment, Brian. Brian simply said, there isn't a detergent on the planet that will get the stains out of my pants after that unreal game. I think I'm with you, mate. You know, I haven't looked at my own pants yet, but I imagine that they're not too far away from yours. Yes, it was a game that, fair to say, wasn't long after the goal scored that the final whistle went, so we couldn't have left it much later. Now, obviously, Nottingham Forest coaches, fans feel a little bit aggrieved because they believe a certain drop ball should have gone their way, but I think there was 2 or 3 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, between that and us scoring, but I'm open to be corrected on that. But here's the good news. Nottingham Forest can finally now turn to their Mark Clattenburg, the refereeing expert that they've brought into the club, to explain to them that yes, it was the wrong decision, and yes, you were shafted, but also not much you can do about it at this point, lads. The drop ball should have probably gone to Forest, but hey ho, stuff happens, and that's what you get for trying to run down the clock. I love it when we play teams that try to literally milk the clock at the end of the game, like Newcastle a couple of years ago, and we find a way to win it at the death. It's just so satisfying. I've got loads of news to get through, by the way. A few other bits and pieces have happened since we last finished. Some stats I want to get to, some comments from the players and stuff on social media. Yes, lad, love the vids. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate you. See, these late night streams or later streams on a match day are always hard because we don't get notifications going out on them, so they're a bit longer for people to find us and come back in for a chat. So early doors, we've got a good opportunity here for a chat. And appreciate you as well, mate. Thank you. The channel's been in unbelievable growth over the last while. As you can see, top corner, 246,140 subscribers deep at the moment. Incredible support, guys. Thank you. Right, this is a bit of a strange stat, but a stat nonetheless. Liverpool have won an away game against Nottingham Forest in the league for the first time since, are you ready for this? Incredibly, October 1984. I couldn't believe that stat when Squawka posted it. So Liverpool have won an away league game against Nottingham Forest for the first time since October 1984. That is an incredible statistic. You wouldn't think Liverpool would be that long without a win anywhere, let alone a club as established like Forest. But that's crazy. What a time to pick it, though. What a time to do it. What a time to get that result. Craig, I love you, mate. Class content. Keep it up their heads. Thank you. Appreciate you. Loads of people's perceptions, I think, are changing towards our community and our channel as they get to know us a little bit more. But I enjoy that we're in a good moment. I enjoy sharing these nights and evenings with you guys as well. And what an end to that game. So, there's something popping up now about the Egyptian FA that I want to start this evening by discussing, if I could be so bold. So, as we discussed earlier on during the watch-along, there is actually an Egyptian game during the international break. They take on New Zealand, if my memory's correct. And they've already put out a statement on this. So, they say, the Egyptian FA, we've already received a letter from Liverpool to exempt Mohamed Salah from the upcoming camp due to his injury. So far, fairly straightforward. It's still too early to decide the matter, and if Mohamed Salah plays any match in the time before the start of the camp, we will adhere to his inclusion and he will be examined and the extent of his readiness determined by his medical staff of the Egyptian national team. I'm getting sick of them. I'm not even going to hide it anymore. The Egyptian FA need to do one. This isn't a qualifier. This isn't a massive game. This is a game against New Zealand where the player has been out injured since the AFCON and hasn't played more than 35 minutes for Liverpool. Liverpool have asked to just keep him out of this international, just this one fixture. And yet again, They seem to almost take everything as an insult, everything as a slight. Just stop it. He's your national team player and captain. He obviously needs to recover. No need to drag him all the way over for a game against New Zealand, especially when he's only getting back to fitness and may play one game, maybe 2 games before the break. Just play ball for once, because you're not helping him, you're not helping the situation, and you're certainly not helping your perspective and your perception in football. It's so annoying and so unnecessary. Just let the dude have a rest. He clearly needs it. Not for us, for him. Your national team captain. Just find it weird. I do. And it's getting a bit old. It's all with every goddamn thing is a fight and argument with them. Every single thing never seems to just go smoothly. They always have their back up about something. They just need to get on with it and just let the lad rest. Clearly, it would be more beneficial for him if you let him rest. Anyway, I've had my little rant. Another bit of news that is good has been established in the last few hours. Permanent concussion substitutions will be introduced into the laws of football, the game's lawmakers have confirmed. The measure, which has been trialled in a number of competitions, will come into effect from July the 1st, 2024. What this means is teams will be able to add an additional substitution outside of their allotted amount if any player is showing signs of a concussion, regardless of the number of changes they've already made. Goes on to say, however, a trial for temporary concussion substitutions, a measure which has been called for by the Premier League as well as players' unions, was not approved at the annual general meeting of the International Football Association Board, or IFAB, in Scotland on Saturday. So we will see permanent concussion substitutions being allowed, but no temporary ones. So look, it's a start, right? It's a move in the right direction. We do want people's health, and particularly around concussion and stuff, we want it taken seriously. We want people treated accordingly. So I certainly welcome the move to add in a permanent concussion substitution if indeed a player is showing signs of concussion. Common sense move for me, and I hope most of you guys agree. Paul Vowles, how much of a blow is Alisson's injury? Well, I guess that depends on how much you trust Queevy and Kelleher. I hope the answer at the moment is you trust him quite a bit. But look, when the best goalkeeper in the world, and let's be honest, that's what I think Alisson is, when he's not available, it's going to be less beneficial to you. But you know what? We need to say Queeveen's been a more than able deputy so far, and I'm sure he'll keep us ticking over until Alisson's back. About time and long overdue, said Malcolm with regards to the concussion substitutions. Did you see the post from Alexis McAllister on Instagram? I love it. He said, "It's not over until it's over. We're Liverpool FC. Our number 9 is back." Yes, he is. And what a lovely header as well, by the way. So there's a couple of bits and pieces around the goal that I want to draw your attention to. Firstly, the part that Endo played in it. Would have been very easy for Endo to trip over somebody or cause a foul on the edge of the penalty area when he was looking to win the ball back right at the end of the game. But between him and McAllister, they found a way to get the ball back, and then it was all about the presence of mind from Alexis to get his head up and just dink that perfect ball to the back post, where our number 9 was there to head it towards the goal and send us all into, well, limbs probably. Unbelievable. Great bit of composure from both of them, and great game awareness as well from McAllister and Endo. So another interesting stat that our friends at LFC Transfer Room posted was today was the first time that Alexis McAllister, Dominic Szoboszlai and Wataru Endo shared the pitch together since the 6th of December 2023. During that period, we've played a total of 20 matches. And we get the boys back on the pitch together. Bing, bang, bosh. Job's done. When it comes to clutching up, our players always do, said Zane. Love that. From Macca, said Revanite. So, where are all the people that were throwing the toys out with the pram earlier? Because it's really getting frustrating to see the chat at times. Most of you guys keep believing, as you should do. But you've seen them. You know, there might be just people that jump in for watch-alongs or whatever. But there is a weird defeatist attitude that creeps in when things aren't fully going our way. And I'm not talking about when we're 2-0 down. 0-0 with 20-25 to go at times, and people are like, oh, well, that's it. Give up the league. Bottlers, hand it to City. No, never. You cannot write this group of players off. If ever there was a team in Premier League history, outside of maybe that United team under Ferguson, that knows how to do it late, it's this group. It's this team. It's this manager and these players. Now look, full disclosure, did I think with 97 minutes gone today we were winning it? I didn't. I thought this was one game too far. But we did. And again, I hope it just reminds people, it's never over until the referee blows the final whistle. Here for the party, said Liverpool lad. Absolutely, sir. And welcome in. Enjoy. I want all the positivity in the chat today. I want to know what you think for the Manchester City game coming up. How strong should Jurgen go midweek for the game against Sparta Prague over in Prague? I know it's not a huge bonus, but we do have the earlier kickoff time on Thursday against Sparta Prague. I know it's a couple of hours, but look, a couple of hours of recovery makes a difference. So at least the boys will be finished playing by 6, hopefully on a plane back over and then recovering for the game against Manchester City on Sunday. Catherine Bulger said, we can never, ever give up on this team. They leave everything on the pitch. They have the fighting spirit. Absolutely, Catherine. They are an incredible group of people. And I'm so happy that after the Forest fans singing the Andy Carroll song towards Darwin, that he rammed it back down their throats. They should learn. Opposition fans should learn. Do not poke the bear. And by bear, I mean Liverpool, the manager, the players, the fans, all of it. This usually comes back to bite you in the behind. And Darwin Núñez, he tried it a little bit before. He had another one of those reverse headers that were nearly there. But this time the ball was on the money from McAllister and flicked goal scenes. Not to write off Ali or anything, but ever since Kelleher has stepped up for him, we've conceded 3 goals in 6 games and kept 3 clean sheets. I don't think it's a coincidence. Look, they're both exceptionally good goalkeepers. And look, I'm really proud of Kelleher for the job he's doing. But I want to also single out Canade and Van Dijk. I thought that they were immense again today, both of them. I mean, I'm looking at... Let me just read them out to you. Rather than me say it to you, I'm going to read out Sky Sports player ratings for the game, and I'm going to ask you guys for your thoughts on them. So let me get the player ratings up, and then we can talk about what you think about them. Right, you ready? So Sky Sports player ratings for the game for Liverpool. Kelleher, 7. Gomez, 6. Canade, 6. Van Dijk, 7. Robertson, 6. Bradley, 6. Clark, 6. McAllister, 7. Elliott, 6. Diaz, 7. Gakpo, 6. Núñez, 7. Endo, 6. Szoboszlai, 6. What? I mean, what? Okay, I get it. I'm a Liverpool fan. I might go a little bit too far at times in the other direction. But what? 6s and 7s. Clean sheet. What has Kelleher got to do to get higher than a 7? Did everything asked of him again today. 1-on-1 saves. They had an XG of over 1. And again, clean sheet. And Kelleher gets 7. I don't know, lads, what to say, honestly. Who they have watching these games, I give up. VVD and Ibu being 6 and a 7 is absolutely horrendous. I agree, Zach. It's pathetic. I don't know if anybody was watching the game or not, or they went off stats, or how they came to these conclusions, but I don't know. Mental. Maka was a 9, said the Patriot. How can you say Alisson is the reason for us conceding more goals? Recency bias is insane. I get where you're coming from, but like he was being positive about Kelleher as well, so I'll let it slide. Look, Alisson is never a reason for us conceding more goals. I don't think any of us really feel that way. But it has been lovely to see Kelleher come in and grow into the role. Angus Court, how are you? So Craig, I missed the game. Apparently a beautiful Uruguayan scored the 99th minute. Yes. Magnificent. 99th minute of a 98-minute game. You love to see it. And there was a couple of yellows and reds dished out at the end as well to the Nottingham Forest coaches. Did you see that the Nottingham Forest owner came away throwing his considerable weight around at the end of the match as well? Well, at least it makes a difference from him throwing his media pass into someone's front garden, which he did, I think, at Fulham, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere else. To the whining Forest fans, in the first half, the ref gave the ball to the Luton goalkeeper instead of a drop ball for Liverpool, so we're even. Look, I don't know the exact time frame between the drop ball and us scoring, but I think from memory, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I think there was a couple of minutes, and I think Forest had the ball twice back in possession between then and that. Now look, it was an incorrect decision. I'm not going to sit here and try and make out like Tierney didn't get that wrong. He did. The drop ball should have been given to Nottingham Forest. Callum Hudson-Odoi was in possession on the left side of the penalty area. But, I mean, ultimately, you know, we went 90 yards up the pitch to the other end, scored. A lot happens between that and then, but I love these types of wins at the death. Drives rival fans crazy. Yes. Amazing, mate. It is. And look, it feels so much sweeter to us, regardless of what the opposition fans think. Just the release, the relief, the buzz that must... Imagine what the dressing room must be like. Or imagine the trip back home from Nottingham, how the players and the coaches, who will no doubt be mentally and physically fatigued, that will energise them. That will give them incredible belief that anything is possible. And next up in the league, it's 115 FC coming to Anfield. I'll tell you what, the official appointments are going to be well looked at for this one, so we'll wait to see who gets the job. I guess when you put the benchmark as 5, average 6, 5 or 6, for example, the scores are really low, in my opinion. Liverpool's Twitter agreed with our chat earlier. Darwin, man of the match. Even Sky, to be fair to them, on their player ratings, they did give Darwin man of the match. Forest complained about the drop ball when the same call went for them after Elliott's shot hit a Forest player in the head. I remember the incident. I don't remember who got the drop ball afterwards, but if it went back to the Forest lads, yeah, that evens itself out. I forgot about that one, but you are right. I remember the strike. I remember the Forest player, they blocked it with their head, and then they went down, and I remember saying, look, it's a head injury, absolutely stopped the game. But I didn't remember the drop ball, so there you go. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Ionape Stats? Sorry if I've mispronounced the name, dude. Love the way you call Man City 115 charges FC. Really makes me laugh. Well, I don't want to call them Abu Dhabi FC because that feels a little bit xenophobic at times. But 115 charges FC I think works. Do you know what gets me though? Correct me if I'm wrong on this. So, you good folks I'm sure have been on social media in some form or another, or read some columns since the game has been over with comment sections. The amount of so-called football fans, I say so-called because they should be just called anti-Liverpool fans, who want Manchester City to win the league just so we don't, and profess to care about the game, baffles me. Truly. Can I understand Arsenal fans being disappointed we didn't draw points today? Yes, of course. But to see the amount of people that would rather Manchester City, who have 115 charges for breaking the rules, they want them to win the league, and you pretend to give a shit about the sport? How can you care about the sport and want those guys to win the league just because you don't like Liverpool? It doesn't make any sense to me other than petty tribal nonsense from people who don't really give a damn about the sport. If you care about this sport, you'll want Liverpool or Arsenal to win this league title. and you'll want them to win it badly. Because every single trophy that 115 Charges FC get their greasy little mitts on is another slap in the face for football clubs trying to do it right. So, weird bunch of people. If we avoid defeat against City next week, Angus Court reckons we're on for the title. So, I'm not at that point yet unless we win. A draw with City next week, I mean, that locks up the top of the league table if Arsenal keep winning. It'll be very interesting at that point. It would be us and Arsenal level with City a point behind. And obviously the first game, I think, back for Arsenal after the international break is a trip to the Etihad. If I'm not mistaken, I think, is there 45 days or something like that? Some ungodly amount of time for Arsenal between their last league game and the next league game. Now, I know there's an international break in there and they do have players on international duty, but it's they won't get a better chance to prepare to go to the Etihad. Craig, these football fans hate Liverpool so much, even the pundits, the refs. It's mad. Like, I can get you not liking a club. I don't like United, but I respect them. But I don't like them. I don't like bantering their fans because obviously we want to come out on top. But there's no way I'd ever want a club that has been charged with cheating to do well just to stop a rival or some. It just feels weird to me. What a game this. Did you see the Luton game against Villa, by the way? Wow, 2-0 up, 2-2, and then Lucas Digne with one at the end. The race for the Champions League places is going to get interesting. I have 20 quid on a score draw tomorrow. Haaland and Garnacho to score 11-1. So, the reason I'm not going to do a watch along tomorrow of the United game is because I feel like if I do the watch along, United will be 3-0 down after 20 minutes and it'll be a very long afternoon. So maybe if I don't do it and don't pay attention to the game, I'm hoping that we somehow get done a favour. I know it's wishful thinking, but I will be reacting to the Manchester derby, just not doing a watch along of it. Barry Taylor, again, thank you, sir. Barry come back in with another 10 gifted Anfield Agenda memberships. Very kind of you, Barry. South Africa's in the house. How are we? Amanmo 786, welcome in. First time I actually hope United win. I know, Michelle, you feel dirty, don't you? I was saying the same to Ben earlier on. Obviously, Ben's a United fan. And I said to him, it's very, very, very rare that I want you guys to get a result. But this definitely is one of those weeks where I want United to get a result. But I don't think they will. Craig, do you know what happened after the match with all the Forest staff? Yes. It was about to drop ball. So Stephen Reid, I think it was, got sent off for the Forest coaching staff. Their owner was down there as well. I think there was a few things, but namely I think they believe the drop ball should have been given back to Callum Hudson-Odoi. And under the rules it looks like they're right, but as somebody pointed out in the chat, I believe a similar incident happened in the first half. No, earlier in the second half, where Elliott shot hit the Forest player in the head, and I can't remember it, but the chat said, I remember the incident, but I don't remember the drop ball. Chat said it got dropped to Forest, which would cancel that out, right? Because we should have got the drop ball. They should have got the drop ball. And look, I'm not trying to say Tierney did make a mistake with the drop ball. Mark Clattenburg knows the rules of the game. But I also don't give a shit, because it's about time we got something, a bit of luck. What happened between Klopp and Tierney? Truly do not know. Except no yellow card for Klopp, which is the important part, because he would have missed the Manchester City game. So whatever the conversation was between Klopp and Tierney, I've no idea. But it didn't result in a booking for the manager, so we'll take that. Craig, there's rumours of Liverpool trying to sell Lucho in the summer for money to spend in Mo, Trent and Verge contracts. So think of it this way. You're saying that Liverpool may have to sell Lucho to give the money to the boys. Think of it another way. We're losing Matip and Thiago Alcantara, who I believe between them are about 300,000 quid a week in wages. So about 15 million quid a year. That's the money you could use for those new contracts. Don't need to sell anyone. I fixed it for you. I don't think that's the case. Now look, if Liverpool want to sell Diaz for another reason, and I don't know that to be the case, okay, but I can't see it being... I might... Sorry, I was just message from Mark there. I can't see that being the case. If Liverpool want to sell him for other reasons, that's a different conversation, but it won't be to balance the books because we're in a very healthy shape financially. I know that the new accounts showed a loss of 9 million, but that's pretty good under the current circumstances. So yeah, I don't think we need to worry about the financial side of it. Bob said Craig is the go. Yes, Bob, you are right, sir. It was all about the Forest player diving. Which one was that now? It's hard to have to say which one was that, but look, I told you when that Forest keeper went down that was piss taken. Because first of all, it was his head, and they looked at the head for a couple of minutes, then they worked their way down the body to the leg, and then the leg back up again, and then he stood up, and he had a little ooh, then he waited, and then he dragged out the free kick. Look, I love seeing teams who time waste get punished. Now look, it's their God-given right to time waste. If you can get away with it, that's, fair enough. But God, I love when we get a late winner like the Newcastle game or like this game. Have you seen the still image of Canade faking a head injury? Man has a boot on his head. I haven't seen the image that you're talking about. So I can't really give you a response to it because I haven't seen the image in question. They were time wasting so much in the second half. And look, I don't blame them. I truly, I don't. I'd do the same in their position. They're fighting for their lives at the bottom part of the league table. They may have a points deduction looming. I don't... I don't hold it against them at all. They were trying to do what they had to do. Just didn't work out for them. Do you think Gakpo will last 2 more seasons? So, look, I know the Gakpo situation is an emotive one at the minute, and he's the latest Liverpool player that people want to criticise. But I think there are some extenuating circumstances around it. So he hasn't been playing with the strongest group of players. When he's on, he's usually on because we have an injury or we've made a change. You can argue about the positions he's been played in, but I think it is fair to say he's fallen off a bit. But I wouldn't be writing him off. I wouldn't be talking about selling him yet. Let's see how he finishes the season. And let's see if he settles into a particular spot. He's not a centre forward. You could see that clear as day. He doesn't even look comfortable up there. For me, he's not going to get in the left wing of this Liverpool team because he doesn't have enough pace to get on the left wing. So I think the only real spot for him is potentially behind the front three. But does he start every week there? I don't think so. But I'm not writing him off yet because he's still got youth on his side and time on his side. But I do understand that people don't think he's doing enough. I think that's fair. But it's how we talk about that. That's important. Because look, we all do it, right? We all emotionally say things. And there was some chances today, like the one that he hit the side netting on. Criminal not to go back across the goal there. You've got to make the keeper work. And if you're going to go to the near post, then you best at least hit the target. So, yes, some decisions haven't been great. But he'll know that. He won't need me or you or any other fans to tell him that. He'll know. But he's still young, so I wouldn't be writing him off yet. If Newcastle become the next City, would you respect it? It's quite a loaded question. So I guess I'm going to try to break down the question bit by bit. So let me say, at the start of this conversation, I don't think Newcastle, Manchester City, or anybody else in football, not just in the Premier League, should be owned or controlled by a state. I think it's unfair because there's no jeopardy. states, countries, wealth funds, sovereign funds. They have a nation's money at their disposal. It isn't a business. So from that regard, I don't like it. But from another side point, they haven't taken the piss. City came in, took the piss. Chelsea have taken the piss. Newcastle's business, with all due respect to them, I think it's been more than reasonable. And I think they look like they're trying to build in the right way by spending what they can afford to spend. And they're aware that they may have to sell one or two of the bigger players, like we did when we sold Coutinho, to fund other moves. So I don't see them ever going down the route of a Manchester City, because I don't think they're going to be able to with regards to the way the Premier League look at spending. So that's the fairest way I think I can answer the question for you. But I don't like state ownership of any football clubs. Barry said, "Hi Craig, why oh why can defenders rip shirts off the attackers, but when the attackers try to get them off, by doing so, they're always penalised? The crackdown on shirt pulling never has any legs." It is one of the things, Barry, that I've said for years is an unspoken about hypocrisy in our sport that we've all bought into and all been party to for many years. You're absolutely spot on. Look at why the free kick or the goal for Van Dijk was disallowed in the League Cup final. And then look at how every set piece is defended by a team in the Premier League. If you're going to give a foul for what Endo did, then you're going to be giving away penalties galore. But they don't, because whether people want to admit this or not, referees referee the game differently for attackers and defenders. They just do. I mean, we can debate this till we're blue in the face, but you know I'm right. Every time a defender gets a touch on the back, they fall down, ref gives a free out. No way you're getting a penalty for that. And that is, as I said, one of the unspoken hypocrisies. And it's been okay for years, but now under the microscope of VAR, where we're seeing subjective decisions making for stupid things, people are going to go, well, what's good for the goose has got to be good for the gander here. And you're right, I've seen loads of defenders grab a hold of not just Liverpool players, but any attacker shirts, and nothing ever gets given. Nothing. 2 incidents in the game today, one at each end. We had a player wrestle to the ground. I think it was Dan's, if I'm not mistaken. Nothing happening. And Forest, similar incident at the other end. Another arms around, wrestle to the ground by our defender. Nothing given. But we all know if it was a defender there, it gets given. I don't know what to say to you, but it is just one of them things in our game. Who is the best centre forward now? I don't know, but I say what I've always said. I wouldn't change Haaland. I wouldn't swap in Darwin and have Haaland. I'd keep Darwin. I love Darwin in our system. Haaland's a great goal scorer, a predator, but give me Darwin. I just love our boy. Teams like Chelsea, Man City, PSG, Leipzig, Hoffenheim are only the way they are at now because of the rich owner. Disgraceful that it's modern day football. Well, at least they're trying to do something about it now, right? With regards to FFP or profit and sustainability. So does anybody get a chance to read up on the Romano stuff? Yeah. Has anybody got a chance to read up on that? Yeah. So this is the incident. Okay, so yeah, what I'm seeing there is Canada getting kicked in the head. And if that's a feigning injury, then I give up. Looks like there's a boot about to hit him in the face there. Yes, did anybody ever read of that stuff around Fabrizio? I'm enjoying every second of it. I can't lie to you. Every goddamn second of it. I find the whole thing very interesting because I've always found the whole rise of Fabrizio Romano very interesting. I'm trying to find the notes for you so I can read it out. Alright, here we go. So, Danish journalists have looked into a couple of things around him. And this is what a Danish investigation has said so far. One of the journalists said, "I know that Fabrizio Romano was hailed like a god on social media. I just have to say that very often he gets his information from player agents and turns out to be the mouthpiece of the player agent's agenda." They go on to say, "For this specific case, it very much looks like the entourage of the player in question, a Copenhagen player, wants to send out a message to put pressure on FC Copenhagen. This can't be seen as journalism. Let me read that line out again. This can't be seen as journalism. It's a business where clubs and agents will need to pay for the publicity, and that can never be labelled as journalism. And I think that should be the lesson here. What might look like journalism are instead driven by pure commercial interests. Now, on top of that, Norwegian media alleges that Vålerenga were approached by a company called Memo offering exposure to Fabrizio Romano's channels to the tune of $1,100 for a social media post, $6,000 for a video, and 196 quid for a personal greeting. Look into it yourselves. I'm sure more stuff will come out about this over the coming days. But as I said, I've never understood what exactly he was. Because he isn't a journalist. Because he doesn't do any journalistic work. He just rats. That's it. Rats on people for a living. Stirs shit for a living. And is the mouthpiece of agendas for a living. I've always said this to you. I don't understand why football clubs don't despise this dude for the way he acts and goes on. Because all he is a professional rat. And I mean that from the sense of telling on people, telling tales. I'm not trying to say he looks like a rodent or anything like that. But as I've said to you guys for many, many, many years, everything in our industry is not always as it seems from the outside. There is a lot of for-profit driven greed that goes on, and I'm glad somebody's finally done a bit of investigative journalism on this, because I find the whole thing to be weird. Found it weird that Romano made the post about the Irish talent Rocco Vata at the back of January, as it was a bit random. This explains a lot considering Vata was trying to negotiate with Celtic at the time. Look, that's unfair of me. Some people have told me I'm just a hater or I'm jealous. Again, you don't know me if you think I'm jealous. Sometimes shit just doesn't add up. And when you look at it and figure how this person came from nowhere to being the most interacted with account on Twitter in the world, something there makes me think like, something's pushing this agenda. Do you think Liverpool could win the treble? Treble? Why only a treble, Daniel? Well, do you know what? I'm going to ask in the poll, in the chat, how you think the season ends. And I'm going to give you as many possible alternatives as I can. So, let me just write this out. Okay. Nearly there. 1 second, guys. Okay, there you go. There's a poll. How does the season end? League Cup only, 2 trophies, treble, or big sexy quad? I'll leave that up for the remainder of the stream. Exactly, if it looks like a rat, smells like a rat, then it's often a rat. Yeah, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Now, again, I'll let people come to their own conclusions of it, but have a read up on it if you get the chance. LFC on Sky is game of the day. Nice. Look, we're all going to be tuning in for a bit of match of the day tonight, right? We have to be optimistic about a quad, said PC Dra. So, what do I think? I think... So I think we end up with 3 trophies this season. I just don't know which... I'm going to go Premier League, Europa League, League Cup, and we don't win the FA Cup. But we might win the FA Cup. I'm trying to be not arrogant, just saying the treble. Giants Nation, how are you, mate? Welcome back in. It's a very difficult question. It is. It's an incredibly difficult question, Gen G, it is. Craig, why the Fabrizio hate? I think I've explained myself very clearly all along. What does he do? Like, what does he add to the football sphere that isn't about profit? Does he give you written pieces on a football club, on how the game is played? No. He grasses up for a living. And my question and my hate about him is, 1, what's the agenda behind him getting the information? 2, how much is he selling this for? And 3, as I've said, what does he actually contribute to football? Because I don't see positive from him. I just see a shit stirrer. And you say, hey, I'm not the investigative journalism team from Norway and Denmark that have uncovered stuff. That's not me. So, not hate to report on what's been written. And I just don't worship at the altar of Fabrizio like many people do. And I never have. I will credit him. I will quote him. I will talk about him. But I'm not a worshipper. Because I've always said something doesn't feel right. His rise to prominence came quickly from out of nowhere. And his access seemed questionable. So, there you go. If that makes me a hater, then so be it. But I'd more ask the question, is there anything to these articles? I get that, but he's so reliable. Is he? Really? I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but I certainly know that he's... I don't like him. I'm just going to leave it at that. Of course, everyone's free to make up their own mind. I just don't like him. I just think he's a bit greasy. After today's result, why not the big sexy quad in question? I've got no doubt at all. You know what though, even if we do it right, even if we do the unprecedented thing of winning 4 trophies in a year, you'll still get the people going, it's not the quad though, is it? It's not the quad. It's a quad. It's not the quad. We get it, I know, but it would still be unprecedented. But look, it's asking a lot, you know. But we've got to this point, and I'm so happy that we've got to this point, and the wheels are still on, and we're still chugging along towards that potential dreamland. I mean, I don't know what way the season ends, but I know I love where we are. What else is there? If we win the quad, there'll be 2 statues of Kloppo outside Anfield. I mean, look, I was really relieved when we won the League Cup because I knew that no matter what else happened, at least Klopp's getting a trophy in his last year. So that, to me, I kind of felt like it almost took some of the weight off, some of the pressure off. And now it's all gravy. Like, whatever else we do now, it's... I don't say it's a free hit, but we've already got 1 trophy ready for Kloppo. He's already delivered that. So now it's, let's be greedy. Will said, Fabrizio was even involved in that. You've said the word fraudulent. I'm not going to back that word, but deal for Mudryk to Chelsea, I think is what you were saying. How many games left in the league? For us, 11, I think. I think it's 27 up now, right? Let me just check. How are Real Madrid getting beaten 2-1, by the way? Let me just check the league table. Yeah, 11. 11 games to go for us in the league. We need to beat City at Anfield because City games are easier. Well, City have a really difficult run of games now, Alejandro. Like, they've got us. They've got United, obviously, tomorrow. They've got Arsenal after the international break. And I think there's a couple of other tricky games in and around there. But, look, if we beat Manchester City, in my opinion, we've won the league. I'm not disrespecting Arsenal in that way, because I don't think Arsenal get at them from the Etihad. But if Arsenal win at the Etihad and we beat Manchester City, that's going to be like an amazing end to the season. Because then I'd at least be able to look at it and go, two good clubs, two honest clubs, two genuine sets of fans, two genuine clubs who've tried to do it in the right way, going head to head. Brilliant, bring it on. And may the best team win. So yeah, if we can get rid of Manchester City out of the title race, you know, us and Arsenal, all the better. City have United, us, Arsenal, Spurs. That is a tricky run of games now. If they got through that run of games and were top of the league, you'd have to fancy them to go and finish the job. You would. Same as way I'd say if we got through a difficult run of games like that, you'd have to say, we're going to do it. I think for us, it's a matter of what the injuries look like, and who we get back and when we get them back. So we know now that Darwin is back and Soboslai's back and Endo's back. That's a huge help. Now if we can get Mohamed Salah back for the City game, another massive feather in Klopp's cap. You would hope at that point we're not a million miles off seeing Ryan Gravenberch back. So then, yes, you're still without some big players, the likes of Trent, Curtis Jones, Alisson, but, you know, every one we can get back for the first team helps at this point. I thought Dan's was a great shithouse when he came on today as well. Obviously, the dude has talent, but I like that he puts himself about as well. I appreciated that part of his game today when he came on. Craig, I bet you'll be happy when Guardiola says he's leaving. Not particularly. The only thing that's going to make me happy in that situation is for them to be shown up and the charges to be proven and all of football to know how they got to where they did. I don't give a shit about any of them individually. I just think the whole club, the whole model, the whole way they've gone about it is a slap in the face. And yeah, that's why I said if it's us and Arsenal going head to head, my tone will be very different towards our opposition because I have respect for them. And I'm going to say, like, if we've to lose the league title this season, I'd much rather we lost it to Arsenal than we lost it to Manchester City. You know, personal preference. I know other people will say, but you never hear the end of it for them. But that's what they're supposed to do. That's what fans are supposed to do. Same way if we win it, people will never hear the end of it from us. That's what we're supposed to do. So that's the way I look at it. You know, if we lose to Arsenal, congratulations to them. If we lose to City, fuck them. Dan's had a penalty shout and a yellow card before he touched the ball. Yeah, he was wrestled to the ground and then he did collide with the keeper. I'll tell you what though, Robbo's yellow card was mad, wasn't it? It was like he just came flying in from the side of the screen and jumped into the player. I think if ever there was a time we cannot argue about a yellow card, it was the one Andy Robertson got today. Oh, I mean, I haven't forgotten Jota, mate. Absolutely. That's what I said. Like, we are performing miracles with the players that we have available to us at the minute. And as you've said, imagine having Diogo Jota, Mohamed Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Curtis Jones, Thiago Alcantara, Joel Matip, Stefan Bajcetic, Alisson Becker. Imagine having all those boys back on top of what we have. It is truly outstanding that Jurgen has been able to field a competitive team, let alone a team that's picking up wins. It's mental. I love it. Tell me that goal today in 98 minutes. Tell me that you didn't, wherever you were, whatever you were doing, that your soul didn't lift, that you didn't have a release, whether it was a scream, a swear word, a punch to the air, whatever it was. That's what football's about. That's what sport's about. That's why it hits different. It was because of Jayden that we had more than the allotted 8 minutes today. Well, that and the keeper rolling around from that incident, yes. So interesting question to the chat. Did any of you do anything really stupid today when we scored? Anybody throw a drink on the floor or knock something off a table or, I don't know, fall off the bed? Whatever it is you were doing. Somebody out there has to fess up to something now. Come on. Oh, so here we go. Mark Clattenburg again. And I love how Sky are putting this out there as Liverpool goal controversy. Fuck off, Sky. How about that? I'll sit down with both the board and the owners to explain what has happened. What I'm hearing here is Clattenburg's trying to justify his existence here in this role. Anyway, it's difficult to explain it. It was too early to think about an official complaint. Official complaint, my arse. Don't tell that to Gary Neville. Oh, Jesus, don't say that to Gary Neville. You're not allowed right to referees, Mark, even if you were a former referee. Gary Neville would be crying. You're not allowed to do it. You just have to take it on the chin, remember? Gary said so, and Gary runs football. So he said, what we'll be doing is speaking to the PGMOL, enjoy that, with my relationships that I have with the PGMOL. See this shit now, straight into the leaning into the relationships. He's not doing well here so far, Clattenburg, with my relationships. So what you're trying to say is you want favouritism, Clattenburg, is it? You're leaning on your relationships. You're no longer part of the PGMOL, Clattenburg. Shut up. You're a gun for hire now, pal. He said, we'll discuss what has happened on the field of play today and we'll look at the course of action. I'll tell you what the course of action is. Here's a tissue. Cry yourself to sleep. You're welcome. Could have saved Nottingham Forest a fortune there in fees and consultancy fees. And what about Mr. Clattenburg? Will you be writing to the referee and the PGMOL to ask about the same incident that went the other way? When Elliott hoofed the ball off their defender's head and the ball was dropped back to Forest, we believe, in our chat. Will you be writing about that, Clattenburg? Because you know you're all about the rules of the game and making sure they're done properly. Oh, I bet you won't though, because you're full of it. And you just have to try and justify your existence in that role. Just shut up and go to another Ed Sheeran concert, mate, and stop talking. He's on Gladiators now. I know, yeah. I mean, I get it. He needs to try and justify why he's getting paid a wage from Nottingham Forest. Do they really need an experienced ex-referee to tell them that? Because they seem to know themselves that something wasn't right. But hey-ho, if they want to pay Mark Clattenburg to tell them that, or help them write their letter, tear-soaked letter to the Premier League, then cool. I fell off my bunk bed, said Bobby. There you go. Craig, why do you think City are so loved? Is it because of Pep? So, I'm going to give you a two-part answer. One, in the media, I very much question why City are loved. Now, it truly baffles me to see Sky, BT, former players, or anybody else blow smoke up Manchester City's arse. Like I said earlier on about the same people who profess that they don't want us to win the league and want City to win it, but pretend to care about the game. I question how anybody, former player, pundit, anybody associated with the sport can be cheerleading Manchester City whilst they have 115 charges over their head. If they get away with them and they're proven to be not guilty, by all means, laud them all you want. Until then, every goddamn piece of punditry that is done about Manchester City should be caveated with, we do have to remind viewers that Manchester City are facing an unprecedented 115 charges for breaches of financial regulations. And then talk about it, but they don't. They just go, "Oh, Pep, you're so amazing. Oh, this Manchester City team, it's such an underdog story." Ugh. Pathetic. Not a fucking backbone amongst any of them. So, that's part one. And part two, they do play effective football. And Guardiola is an exceptional manager. He just happens to be an exceptional manager that is digging his heels in over a club that has paid him a lot of money that he professes are innocent. So, again, if they're found guilty, then he's part of it. Because he has promised. They told me. They're innocent. I believe my club. We want it dealt with quickly, but also we don't. We say we want it dealt with quickly, but yet we throw up every possible roadblock. Every possible one. They're hypocrites. The lot of them. All these clowns on TV, football pundits, licking Manchester City's arse, are basically spitting in the face of the rest of us who know exactly how they got to where they are. So, cowardice, vested interests, I guess, as a broadcaster at times. They draw eyes to the league, new fans to the league, all that stuff, I'm sure. But to me, it's sickening. And it has been from the get-go. I'm very salty about Manchester City. You may notice that. Very, very salty. Because every year that goes by, every trophy they get, it's another one that some club doing it the right way haven't been able to win. It's another set of fans that have been denied celebrations. It's another team that's been denied Champions League football or an FA Cup. It's another set of fans that are told you don't matter, money matters. Did you see the United goal the other week was the same as the Endo one? So, I seen the replay once. And unless I missed the block, I think the block was from Varane, which I didn't catch when I seen the clip. So I don't think it's fair for me to comment on it too much. Answer of regulation of the city will be after the Liverpool game, I guess, because the economic effect is too large. Does any of you believe? If you say yes, fair enough. I'm not going to call you on it. But does anybody in the chat believe that there is going to be no geopolitical interference into the investigation, or that there's no geopolitical leaning on the authorities to point this in a certain direction? Because I don't. And then you look into the investments in green energy and stuff coming into England from Abu Dhabi. Come on now. City point deduction will kick in immediately when it's clear that they have no chance of winning the league. But what is, I truly don't know what the punishment is going to be if they get found guilty, some of all of the charges. I don't know. I haven't even truly, and I'm not just saying this, I haven't thought about what that punishment might be. Because I think the Premier League have inadvertently made a rod for their own back here. Because we've seen Everton punished with now a 6-point deduction for one irregularity. So they've set a standard, and if they have to multiply that across, well, what happens? Do they give a points deduction? Do they throw them out of the league? I don't think enough has been made about how far-reaching this might be. This could be the biggest shady financial doings in football history. I would urge everybody to watch the documentary on not Netflix, on YouTube. It is free to watch. Britain's biggest football scandal. It's about Manchester City. It's about the case with UEFA. It's about the Premier League. It's about the Court of Arbitration for Sport. It's about the leaked emails. It's about all of it. And I would definitely say watch it. It's free to watch. It's on YouTube. Britain's biggest football scandal. Google that and you'll find it. Anyway, let's get to winning the league. So, do you think we're going to do this? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Are we going to get over the line and win the league? I'm going to end the poll because 44% of you think big sexy quad. I love it. That's the highest voted. Big sexy quad 43%, treble 29%. 2 trophies, 21%. And I love that 5% people, only 5% think, yep, just a League Cup. I love that you're that positive. Well in. Do you genuinely believe City will get done? So here's the thing at Keane that, again, I don't think people are talking about enough. They've already been charged and found guilty. This isn't a trial now. That's been done. They've been found guilty. This is an appeal. So they've already been charged. So let's wait and see. But do I think they'll get done? Yes. To what extent? Truly don't know. Leverkusen might be 10 points ahead tomorrow. Yeah. I know, it's crazy. And that plays into our hands, I believe, because I think the sooner they get the league title wrapped up in Germany, the sooner Alonso thinks to himself, okay, we've achieved ahead of schedule what we would have wanted to do here with Bayer Leverkusen, and off I go now to Anfield. Surely that's how this plays. Now, I tell you what I am getting nervous about, not even going to lie to you. I'm nervous about the backroom situation at the minute. I'm nervous about the appointment. I'm nervous about John W. Henry's seeming fascination with getting Michael Edwards back, even if, as what Simon Hughes has pointed to, there's been no change of stance so far from Michael Edwards, because we've got a lot of work behind the scenes to get done before the start of next season. Think of it this way. Sporting director has to come in. Manager has to come in. Backroom staff has to come in. Salah, Trent and Virgil's contracts have to be renegotiated. And that's before you sign a single player. In a summer where the Euros are on, I think, is the Copa America this summer as well? I think it is. So you have a shortened summer. In international tournament, it's a lot of work for the club to get done between now and the end of the season. And I know that there's, I think, some talks in Boston at the moment. So hopefully we see some movement on it. Medical team needs an upgrade, said Eagle v Shark. It is definitely, look, I'm not qualified, I've said this all along, to talk about the medical team, but I think it is fair and realistic that football fans ask questions. So we've had players, not just one or two or three, more than that I believe, who've come back from an injury, played for a very short period of time, and then gone out for a longer period of time. And I think it's fair that that's at least questioned. Nobody's saying people are not performing their task or doing their job. But are we being a bit too optimistic? You know, that's I'm trying to be nice about it, because I'm sure everybody that works at the football club, from the sports science, the medical, I'm sure they're all working their best. I'm sure they're trying their hardest. I'm sure it's a challenging job in unprecedented circumstances here with the amount of injuries. But there's always been a question around, has Klopp worked them too hard in pre-season? Is he asking too much of them on the pitch and training? Do we tire the players out? Can you only play in our team for 3-4 years before you're burnt out? These are all questions that have been around for quite a while. And the answer is probably somewhere in the middle of all of it. You know, there's probably bits of truth everywhere. So we're at 423 likes, my friends. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. We're going to stay until 10 o'clock. So 25 minutes still to go. And I want to say just a real quick thank you so much for helping us get to where we are. This channel in the last 7 or 8 months has become far more established, recognised and known because of you guys. Because of your incredible support, understanding, friendship with each other, with me. It truly is a huge positive in my life and something I'm immensely proud of. And I want to just say again, thank you. Look at that number. 246,000 subscribers for an idiot from Wexford who shouts at professional athletes, and somehow you guys stick with. So thank you for all of it. As I keep saying, don't know where it ends up, don't know what the future holds, but I know I'm proud of it each and every day that I get to be here talking with you guys about our lovely football club. It's immense, amazing, and I've not experienced a community like this anywhere. So amazing. Big up yourselves. We beat City on Saturday. It's ours to lose. Yes. Yes. Oh, God, yes. I'll tell you, I'm going to try and get through this week by not thinking about the game. If I start thinking about Manchester City now, I don't think I'll sleep for the week. Honestly, it's one of those situations where you feel like you need a Rocky montage playing in the background to build up to it. It's huge. Huge game. And the interesting thing for me is going to be the appointment of the officials. We come here to hear you sing. God, don't say that, mate. My wife hates when I sing. Honestly. She thinks I think I can sing or something. I don't think I can sing. Would I take a draw? No. I don't think I would. I know that's greedy because a draw is probably a safe bet. Like, a draw means us and Arsenal to be level on points. And City still have to play Arsenal. So this is like the cash out option on a bet you have, isn't it? Where you can cash out now and make a profit, a decent profit, or you can ride it out and see if you can get the full win. And I've been a mixture of both. I've sometimes been that coward who hits cash out, and sometimes I've been the pig-headed person that lets it ride, but I don't think I take a point. I think we have to go for it. If it was at the Etihad, oh by God, I'd take a point. I won't lie to that. If it was at the Etihad, I'd be saying, give me that damn point right now. But at home, with the crowd the way it is, with the atmosphere as it's going to be, with City, let's be honest, being efficient in getting the results, but not at their brilliant best. Nope, can't take the point. Got to be greedy. So they've only had one win in the Premier League era under Pep Guardiola at our gaff, and that was in the COVID season. Or one of the COVID seasons. So, no, I wouldn't take the point. I'd feel like I'm selling our boys short. What a game it's going to be, though. Honestly, what a game. Here's the good thing, though. And let me say this before we get to the game. If we lose it, don't dare say that's the end of the title. Don't. We can't do that. We should be around football long enough now to know any game is a potential to draw points in the Premier League. So if the worst comes to the worst and we lose to Manchester City, okay, fair enough, but it ain't over. No way. Would you take a point if Arsenal lost their game against Man City? I'd actually rather Arsenal beat Man City. Because if we beat them and Arsenal beat them, that would kill off City. That's end of City's title race. And I think you'd see as much in Guardiola's squad selection. He'd probably hone in on the Champions League and the FA Cup. Yeah, so for me, I want Arsenal to go to the Etihad and get something. If we can create a great atmosphere like a big European game, then we will. I think I agree with Shane. We will. I think the atmosphere is going to be insane at Anfield next week. Absolutely insane. What's this one for Match of the Day? Darwin Núñez goal against Nottingham Forest is Liverpool's latest Premier League winner since Up the Records began in 2006-2007. Thank you, Mark, for sharing that one. That came in from the team at Match of the Day as well. Mark Parsons, thank you for the super sticker, mate. Appreciate you. Have I been to Derry? I don't think I have. Bobby, no. I don't think I've been to Derry. Connor has, I think, but no, I don't think I've been. Craig, I don't know about you, but I feel Klopp sometimes goes a bit pragmatic versus City. Yeah, I get you, but it must be... Like, usually when you're playing City, it must be very tempting to... I mean, you can't ever play for a draw against City, but it must be... I can understand the mutual respect at times on the pitch, between managers. But surely if ever there was a time to go gung-ho and go for it, it's now. Like, look at the games we have beaten City in over the years. They've been basketball games, open games with chaos everywhere. And they're the ones I always back us in. A kind of more measured game of chess, that probably leans into City strengths. So yeah, let's go out there and make it nuts. Make it heavy metal, for want of a better phrase. Have you seen inside Anfield from the cup final? Nope, don't think I have. Don't think I've seen that one. Although I may have. I watched so much content after that League Cup final win that I couldn't. I know it would have been the next day, to be fair, but I don't think I have. Lothar, thank you, Lothar, for your super sticker, mate. Appreciate you. If you're okay for draw against City, you're getting 5 or 6 put past you. You have to go for their throats. I agree. I agree with you. The best form of defence is attack. And we've got to go make Manchester City once again feel that Anfield atmosphere. Just remember what the Luton Town manager said. He felt the effect of Anfield. They felt the effect of Anfield. It is a real thing. And games can be gone in the space of 10 or 15 minutes when everyone's in unison. And Captain Chaos was back today. And you can bet your ass Darwin is going to be chomping at the bit for that game. Am I the only one who thinks Nunez resembles Zlatan? Nah, I think he's way more energetic in every department than Zlatan, and way more authentic than Zlatan, to me. Are you going to make a party along stream if we win the league? Oh God, yes. A nip along where we all get naked. I don't know what we do, but yes. A bong along, a bottle of champagne along. I don't know what we do, but yes. Forever yes. Nunez has got a bit of Suarez in him. He does, yeah. He's deadly. I love him. Do you think the atmosphere will be better than the 2018 game? Yes, because this is Klopp's last one. This is the last time Jurgen Klopp will be playing Pep Guardiola at Anfield as Liverpool manager. No matter what else happens, this is it. This is the last time. The last dance. So, yes, I expect the atmosphere to be shaking the stadium to its foundations. It's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Craig, if we beat City, let's celebrate in Boston. Let's. Please do. And again, don't forget, tickets are on sale. There is a link in the description. We are in Boston, 22nd of this month, live at the Citizens House of Blues in the Foundation Room. We'd love to see you there. You can get your tickets in the description or go to Ticketmaster and just search Anfield Agenda. If we win the quadruple, please don't quit YouTube for next season. We need you more than you know. I've no intention of quitting YouTube next season. I'm on a mission. It's a personal mission, but I'm on a mission. So I've no intention of quitting YouTube next year. I think if you want a realistic time frame, I think I've got somewhere between 3 and 5 years left doing this the way I do it. But I don't want to put a time frame on it yet. I say the same thing every year. I sit down with my family in the summer. We talk about it. I already know the answer for next season. 100% will be back next season. Road to 1 million. I don't think we ever hit 1 million, mate. I don't know if it's possible for a Liverpool channel to hit 1 million. If it is possible, I'd love it to be us. But my goal is to become the most subscribed to Liverpool fan channel. That's been the goal from day one. If we ever hit that, brilliant. If we don't, that's when you need to worry about me quitting. I've said this before. If we overtook Redmen by 4 subscribers, that's the time I'd say to myself, well, you've done it. Job done. That's when I'd be worried about quitting. Why do you think you'll only go another 3 to 5 years? I'm going to give you a serious answer. It's all encompassing, this channel. It's 20 hours a day. It's everything I think about. I don't want to use the word sacrifice because it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. But I missed a lot of weddings, birthday parties, days out, just stuff. But I don't think it's possible to do it that much longer than 5 more years the way I do it, because I'm getting older. It takes a lot out of you mentally and physically in the moments. And it's pressure. It's immense pressure to come on every day and try not to get cancelled. It's really, really difficult, especially when you make live content. Like, I'm live 3 hours a day most days, and to not say one thing that will get you tripped up or cancelled, or it's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure, because now I've got my job, Connor's job, Ben's job, all on the line every time I go live. And you know what type of personality I am. I'm a hothead. So I'm always scared of shit in the bed. Yeah, it takes a lot out of you. It's all encompassing. You can't, like last night, 11 o'clock, Salah story broke. Got to be on, record a video, 11 o'clock on a Friday night. Bang, get it done, get it out. But I wouldn't change it. I love it, but it does take a lot to keep ploughing on and on and on and on. And yeah, but I love it. I love it. I love I get to do it. The amount of time that goes into editing alone is insane. Honestly, from that side of it, we don't edit much as a channel. It's one of the... I'm not saying we don't edit stuff. Of course, Ben and Connor do edit stuff. But we're very much just a record it and say it type of channel, or go live and do it. All the videos every day, the 8-minute videos, that none of them are edited. They're all just start camera, speak, done, finish. Because I think it's important to be authentic and not hide your mistakes. Or I lean into it. I try to lean into it when I shit the bed, and I do a lot. You should see the uncut footage that I send Ben and Connor. If we do have to do an ad read or something for like Manscaped, them themselves would make for funny videos. Just wanted to say thanks for all you do. The work you do is appreciated. Not half as much as I appreciate the support from you guys, mate, honestly. You're the best Liverpool fan to me, your honesty, which I like, very genuine, thank you. So, you remember earlier on when I said to you, the guys at the Boston Liverpool Supporters Club retweeted our post about the show in Boston. Well, Connor said to me, one of the first comments underneath it were, I don't know why you're promoting that guy. Like, what have I ever done to anybody, is my question. Like, people go on like I'm some prick who shits on people or steals for a living or something. I don't get it. I get it if you don't like me, fair enough, but to talk about like not supporting a Liverpool content creator, for what? What have I done? I don't believe I've ever intentionally went after or hurt anybody. I find these things weird. It's like, alright, you don't like me, I get it. I am Marmite. But I have a good heart. And that hurts. Because honestly, my reputation means a lot to me. And I am a good guy, deep down. So when I see shit like that, I just don't get it. Like, what have I done? Some people just hate for no reason, just yell. Yeah, I know. Like, I'll give you an example. About 3 years ago, maybe longer, I spoke about my autism for the first time. And I spoke about the fact that I was diagnosed as having Asperger's and I'm on the spectrum. And within a day, there were people going, the club hates this guy because he abuses people and then tries to use his autism as an excuse. How is that encouraging people to speak about mental health? It's like you're sincere, you show vulnerability and sincerity, and someone tries to twist your words into saying the club hates you, you're an aggressive fucker who shits on everyone, and then you try to blame your autism for it. Show me one time I have ever used the defence of autism for anything. Doesn't happen, because it doesn't define me, and I refuse to let it define me. It's weird. Honestly, I don't understand it. It's like these things, like, if you were walking down the street and you've seen an ad for somebody selling a sofa, you know, used sofa for sale, ring this number. Are you going to ring the number and go, I don't want the fucking sofa, dickhead? Of course you're not. You got to walk by it. So why not do that in the virtual world? It's weird. At the end of the day, you're coming up to 250k subs, and honestly, I can't tell you what that's going to mean when we get there, lads. Honestly, it's amazing. I can't believe it, like. Craig, check out Football Rule 8.2. Tierney restart decision in both cases today was correct. Now, I hope you're right, Mark. Mate, I really do. But if you are right, okay, and if we say what you said is correct, how bad does that make Clattenburg look? Because if we're talking about the rules and that they've been applied correctly, then Clattenburg has just looked and made himself look like a big fraud in all of this. In his work with Nottingham Forest, in his interpretation of the laws. So God, I hope that's true. Because to be able to laugh at him over that would be priceless. How long are you going to be in Boston? We are there from the 21st to the 27th. And no plans to visit any other states. We're just going to go over, meet up with Brian and his brother and his family. Go to a New England Revolution game on the Saturday. Do the show on the Friday night. Visit the sites in Boston, of course. Have dinner out with people on the Saturday night if they're out and about and they're in that part of the city. Apart from the show on the Friday, we'd love to have a meal with everyone on the Saturday. And yeah, just enjoy the city. Never been to Boston before. Want to visit Fenway Park. Want to do the tour of that iconic sports stadium. And just, yeah, enjoy what looks like a beautiful city. I've only ever landed in Boston on a layover, so never been out and about in the city, so can't wait. Honestly, I'm really excited. Imagine if Pep Guardiola's squad got injured and they lose Erling Haaland. So, question, somebody mentioned in the chat earlier on something about Haaland and Man City. Haaland and Barcelona. Is there anything to that, or was somebody just making something up? Because I've not seen links to him to Barcelona, nor do I think Barcelona could afford him, but it'd be interesting. I just wish you could grow a beard. So do I. Honestly, I do. But I can't. 42 years of age and I can't grow a beard. I could grow a tash, but that's about it. Who cares about the haters? You're on top. You know what? You're right, and I probably shouldn't, but I do. Because we all want to be loved, right? We're all sensitive people, insecure people, and we want to be loved. We want to be liked. We want to be at least not hated. So you are right in saying don't give them any air, but I just honestly, I'd love to know what I've done to them to make some people so emotionally invested in my failure. Have a chat with John. Oh, I'd love to. Imagine me getting to sit down with John or Tom Werner. Be fun. And I mean that in a respectful way, but nah, can't see that happening. I've seen a rumour, but it's got to be from a certain island, said Cam. Yeah, I can't see how Barca would have the money to sign Haaland. Imagine if Real Madrid ponied up the dough and actually bought him, and they had like Bellingham, Haaland, Rodrigo, Vinicius, Endrick, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Alphonso Davies. That's just ridiculous. Anywhere I can send a screenshot? Not really, Mark. Not this way, unfortunately. But what was the information? Was it about the link to Barca and Haaland? Oh, sorry, Mark. You might be talking about the rule, is it, mate? Sorry. So I'm going to read out what Clattenburg said about the rule. So 1 second. So Mark Clattenburg said, I'll sit down with the board and the owners to explain what's happened. It's difficult to explain. It's too early to think about it. A complaint. What we'll be doing is speaking to the PGMOL, my relationships I have with the PGMOL and the Premier League, and we'll discuss what happened on the field. That's not giving me the answer, though. I'm sure there was a stat somewhere from him with exactly what he was alleging. No, I don't have it to hand, sorry. I'm sure there was one, though. Yeah, he did point out a specific rule, Clattenburg, where he said that Tierney incorrectly both dropped the ball to Liverpool, where it should have been dropped to Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left wing. Ashton, thank you, mate. Much love. Appreciate your comment. Thank you, Ashton Simpson. What even happened? So do you remember when there was a drop ball after Canada went to ground in our penalty area? Well, Mark Clattenburg and Nottingham Forest feel that because they were in possession of the ball on the left side with Callum Hudson-Odoi, that they should have had the drop ball dropped to them to restart the game. And that's what their anger at the end of the game seems to be about. Somebody pointed out that it happened earlier on in the second half when Elliott took a shot and one of their players blocked it, but he blocked it with his head and he went to ground. I can't remember if Tierney dropped the ball back to them or us, but it should have been to us, going by what Clattenburg was saying. Craig, are you fine? What? Are you followed this channel from the bank? I don't know what that means. I know all the hardship you've spoken about, but you never give up. You never stop believing. Thank you. I'm not quitting. No way, mate. That was never part of the conversation today. Somebody just said, will I be here next year? And I said, yes, I think I've probably got like five years left in me max. So what's the story in the Madrid game? Somebody said there was a penalty. Was it scored? Was it given? What's the score in it? How many points has Tierney cost us this season? I would say go way past this season. I'd say the past 3 or 4. Oh, it was no pen. No pen. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you. No pen given. Kelleher hasn't conceded a goal in the last 6 hours and 18 minutes he's played. How amazing is that? Even today, if I remember correctly, the XG in the game for them was like 1.09. Something like that. And over the 2 cup finals he played against Chelsea, I think he said faced 3.49 XG and not conceded a goal. Amazing. Craig, can you leave when you're 50? 8 years away. You never know. Let's wait and see what happens. I hope to lose some weight and become a bit fitter over the next few months. And I hope that will help my energy levels for work and stuff as well. As you get older, you got to make sure you look after yourself a bit better, because you can't do the things you could do in your 20s and 30s and recover in the same way. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it a night, and I will see you guys tomorrow, 8:30, back here as always. I will be putting out a video reacting to what goes on in the Manchester Derby tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for an amazing day again today. I couldn't have shared it with better people. What a night we had. What an evening we had. What a celebration we've had. And now, one more game in the Premier League before the international break. It will be Manchester City. We play Sparta Prague on Thursday away from home. City at home in the league. Sparta Prague at home in the Europa League. And then Manchester United away in the FA Cup before the international break. What a few weeks it's going to be. I look forward to spending it with you guys as always. Do drop a like before you head off if you'd be so kind. And I will catch up with you soon.